Have you ever noticed how the smallest things can ruin your entire day? One silly grade, one careless comment, 1 second where the world just shifts sideways and suddenly everything feels wrong? I'm never disappointed over the grade itself. It's the weight of all the expectations, like invisible chains tightening around my chest with every breath. They never fully strangle me, just squeeze me enough to keep me alive and anxious. Right now, I'm standing here, probably looking calm, maybe even like I've got it all together. But inside, oh, I'm sweating like a roast chicken, my heart's doing Olympic sprints, brain screaming, drop the mic, change your name, flee the country. But it's not because I'm weak, but because I'm tired. Because the pressure isn't just out there, it's in here, crawling inside my head, playing jump rope with my nerves, twisting every muscle into a knot. And you know what makes it worse? Cringe. Yes, cringe. We're so terrified of feeling cringe that we hold back everything real about us. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from saying what you actually mean, doing what you actually want, just because someone might think it's out of the norm? But honestly, who decided that different is bad? Cringe just means you cared enough to try. It means you are brave enough to be seen. And that's what scares us the most, being seen for who we actually are. And then there's that moment where somewhere in the world, an admission officer is scrolling through our university application. He glances at it for 8 minutes and makes a decision that could shape our entire future. 8 minutes, that's all the time it takes to decide our fate. And somehow, that tiny window feels like a lifetime. We spend years preparing for university, perfecting ourselves for our future, only for a person who doesn't even know us to decide what we do with it. It's unfair, but so is life. And here's the thing no one else says out loud. It doesn't get easier. We just get better at pretending it doesn't hurt. How many of us genuinely believe we have to be perfect? Perfect grades, perfect class, perfect Instagram story, perfect body, not a single crack, not a single mess. Well, spoiler alert, it's a trap. We're all stuck chasing this idea of perfect as if it was some shiny, untouchable prize waiting at the end of the finish line. We try to reach it, but never quite are able to. Because there is no finish line. There is no race. It's just an endless treadmill of expectations with no off switch. I used to think if I could just do it all, every competition, every essay, every school event, I'd finally feel okay. I'd finally stop feeling like I was falling behind in a race no one else seemed to struggle with. But instead, I got tired, and honestly, a little insane. Scratch that, very insane. Do you want to know what multitasking used to look like for me? I sat at my desk writing an article for the school magazine whilst replying to 3 classmates asking me for help with their assignments, and of course I said yes. Meanwhile, anxiety kicks in because I still haven't finished my own projects. I have 2 presentations tomorrow, a book I haven't read, a poem forming in the back of my brain that won't leave me alone, and in 15 minutes, I'm supposed to leave for practice and I still haven't packed my things. That's not having it all together. That's barely duct taping the pieces of myself and hoping that they don't fall apart mid-sentence. And the worst part? I convinced myself that doing more meant doing better, like success was just a matter of stacking achievements until I could finally breathe. But I wasn't breathing. I was drowning in checklists. Most of the time, I didn't even know why I was doing any of it. The original spark, that passion, got swallowed up by noise, deadlines, notifications, overthinking. The worst kind of silence is when your brain is too loud to hear your own voice. That's why I keep going back to swimming. The pool is where the noise finally quiets down, where I can sort my overthinking, let all the anger out. In the pool, I don't have to be perfect or impressive. I just have to stay afloat, keep pushing forward. It's the only place that feels like home and escape at the same time. And honestly, sometimes that's all we need, a place where the world gets quiet enough for us to hear ourselves again. But life doesn't always let us stay in that calm. We step out of the pool, out of the silence, and the world throws the next grand challenge right at us. And then came rejection. Let's talk about that piece, shall we? Not some deep philosophical failure, no. I'm talking about silly, personal, real disappointment. The one when you think this one's yours. You worked for it, you visualized it, you nailed the prep. Like that leadership position, gone. Like that one competition I thought I would win, vanished. Rejection doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door in, throws your confidence on the floor, and laughs in your face. But weirdly, rejection also clears space. It hurts like hell, but it shifts your path. I realize I'm not defined by awards or titles. I'm defined by the fact that I keep going even when the world says not this time. I'm defined by my small wins, getting that one poem published, winning a local debate, Showing up when I really, really wanted to disappear. Those tiny flickers, they matter. They remind me that I'm growing. Slowly, messily, but still growing. Travel has taught me the same lesson as projection. You can't control the road. Sometimes the plan changes. Sometimes you get lost. But that's when you see the most. Every trip reminds me that progress isn't a straight line. It's a messy, winding path full of detours that end up mattering more than the final destination. But growth doesn't only come from grades or competitions. It comes from people too. The friends we spend our breaks with, the ones who make school bearable when everything feels impossible. But here's what I've learned. Not every friendship is good for you. Some people lift you higher, while others keep you doubting yourself. Real friends don't compete with you. They celebrate you. They don't make you feel smaller. They remind you of who you are when you forget. And sometimes the bravest choice isn't winning another award. It's walking away from the person who keeps letting you down. But presence isn't only about who we spend our time with. It's also about how we spend it with ourselves. Getting lost in a book, writing something no one else will ever read, sitting with our own thoughts instead of running from them. The world makes us think that being alone means being lonely. But alone time isn't empty. It's fuel. That's when you figure out who you are without the noise. That's when you stop pretending, stop performing, and just exist. And sometimes that's all we need, just spend time with ourselves. We just have to reconnect with ourselves, and that's the hardest part, reconnecting with yourself. That brings me to the last part. When it comes to reconnecting with yourselves, you can't always just rely on others. Sometimes you have to go sit with yourselves outside, reconnect with nature. And belief doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just a tiny whisper that says try, because this speech almost didn't happen. I asked if I could sign up at the very last minute. No outline, no months of preparation, just me sitting in my seat, hitting record and seeing what came out. So, crying over that dumb grade, valid. But failing and getting back up, powerful. Letting yourself be imperfect, unfinished, in process, that's where the strength is. So yes, I am still nervous. I am still unsure if the speech even makes sense, but I'm up here anyway, trying to be the confident, capable version of myself I used to dream about. Because being imperfect is exactly what makes us worth something. Thank you.